Hey everybody, it's Ron with Ron's Computer Videos. I'm joined by a very special guest here today, someone with decades of experience in the CAD/CAM industry. Let's just get right to this wonderful interview. He's the financial director of Microspot Limited, who are the creators of software like 3D World, MacDraft, MacPlot, and they are every ImageWriter 2 owner's favorite with MacPalette II. Mr. Robert Coulling, how are you, sir?
Very well, thank you. Yes, good today.
Well, I appreciate you meeting me, and I'm sure that this kind of came out of nowhere, where it's like, why are people talking about some of this really, really old software? I know that uh, MacDraft is still a product that's a thing here in 2026, but some of these older things, I'm sure it'll be a little bit of a walk down memory lane.
Yeah, sure it will.
So, well, let's every story starts at the beginning, so let's start there. Do you want to maybe do a quick introduction? You could tell people a little bit about yourself and kind of how you found yourself working at this company that later became Microspot.
Yes. Well, what happened was my father, my uncle, and a couple of other guys started a company called Contactrol Limited back in 1964. And this company was started to exploit an invention of one of the directors to monitor the flow of petrol as you drive along in a car, which in those days was an innovative product. Nowadays it's old hat. And they patented this invention in many, many countries and wanted to exploit this. But, we sold quite a few, and we worked with the motor industry in the UK with British Leyland and people like that. And it went reasonably well, but never took off in the way that they really hoped it would. And I spent my first few years working a rig, really calibrating the flow meters and checking their performance at different temperatures and things like that. And did a lot of work on those and built them as well. We built them all ourselves. So, yeah, we did the whole thing. Yeah. Anyway, that, as I say, didn't actually work out. And what happened next was the son of one of the directors worked for a company called the Solicitors Law Stationery Society. And this was a company based in London that was making photocopying machines. And they had a big photocopying machine called an Arcor in brief. And it had a control box that was made up of cam wheels and motors and things to initiate the paper moving forward, this turning on the electrostatic charges and all that stuff. And we actually made a solid state version of it for them. So we used triacs to switch on all the motors and other things, and timing, electronic timing modules to time out all the sequences. And we made a lot of those. And then they said, maybe you can make a photocopying machine complete. So we made a desktop copier, because their thing was an enormous thing like an organ, but this was a desktop copier, and we made it from scratch. We got the metalwork done out. We did the drawings and everything, and we even had a molding machine to mold the bearings, and we made 200 of those. Anyway, what happened with photocopying was the Japanese, they suddenly came out with very professional looking photocopying machines. And really, the Solicitors Law Stationery Society was only interested in selling paper and inks. So they decided to sell the Japanese copiers, and they would still be able to sell their consumables to, well, their market was solicitors and lawyers in London. Yeah. Anyway, so that was another problem that we had nothing to do. So we then got into industrial control, and we made some counters and timers and a digital indicating controller, which was quite innovative. We actually patented that device with another company, and we sold them to local industries, but some overseas as well, because we made a length measuring device for extruded plastics. So the wheel ran on the plastic extrusion as it came out of the machine, and then they had a saw. It tripped the saw at the right length, and then the saw moved along and sawed through the extrusion, and then moved back and started again. And we sold quite a lot of those, yeah, we did a lot of industrial control stuff.
Well, it's exciting that you're able to kind of weather this storm, because especially with Canon, Canon with that CX engine basically kind of reinvented things, where it was inexpensive compared to a lot of other like more bespoke solutions and things like that. So I definitely know everybody, especially when you tether that like HP and Apple did with like PostScript printing and things like that, to just like opened up like the desktop publishing revolution and all of that. So it's always very interesting to hear about, especially things where it's like, you know, we made this solution that previously did not exist, and we scrolled it all up from, you know, from whole cloth. So it's just amazing that even 200 were made.
Yes, it was amazing. Yeah. Anyway, so we did did all that, and then as I said, my father and my uncle had another business. They were in a transport business, and they were looking for a computer to do their payroll and accounting. And of course, they said, "Oh, you're the guy that knows about electronics. You better have a look to see what you can find." So, there were only 3 types then: Apple, Tandy, and Commodore PET. And they sent me out to have a look at them. Anyway, I liked the Apple because it was the Apple II was really good, because you could put the interface cards into it and add things onto it and things like that. So it just suited me. And so at the same time, my cousin had a tool making business and wanted to buy a Bridgeport CNC machine. So when you bought the CNC machine, they sold you a teletype machine to go with it to create the punch tapes, which you programmed the machine with. Anyway, I think this was about £2,500 or something like that, and we looked at it and said, well, maybe we could do this with an Apple II, and then he could use it for other things as well. Anyway, we did find an RS-232 port on the Bridgeport machine, and we managed to connect up the Apple II to the Bridgeport machine. Anyway, the other thing we needed was a word processor, because we needed to write the code, the CNC code. Anyway, Apple actually loaned us or gave us the, what was it then? Apple Writer code or something.
Mm-hmm.
The word processor that they had. It was pretty, I mean, it didn't have lowercase or anything. I think it was all uppercase. But that suited us because for CNC machine work, you don't use lowercase at all. So it really lent itself. And we created a program called CNC Talker. And this program allowed you to write your CNC code on your Apple Macintosh, save it onto a floppy disk, and send it to the machine through the RS-232 port. We actually made the interface cards as well to connect it up. And if you ran the program and then made an alteration on the CNC machine, you could then upload the program again back into the Apple II and resave it onto the floppy disk. So this worked pretty well. And Bridgeport Machines, who were in Leicester in England, decided that they were going to sell these things. So we made a workstation. It was a trolley with an Apple II on it in a metal case, yes, with 2 disk drives and a monitor. And you could wheel this trolley around the workshop and connect it to all of your machines in turn and feed the programs in and load them and so forth. And
I've seen a few pictures of the original machine on the trolley, and it's very industrialized because, I mean, you have to think you're in the shop. You probably want to have a little bit of protection.
Yes, it was to protect it really from swarf and things flying around, because it's not very good to have swarf mixed with electronics.
Right.
Anyway, yeah, that we sold quite a few of those.
My understanding is that the software originally, because I think the computer in the picture is just a straight like Apple II Plus, or maybe just a straight Apple II. So when you were saying about the uppercase, lowercase, that's kind of a function later on those machines. But you ended up porting that software, Apple II and Apple III even, and then finally to the Macintosh. No. Or was it just on the Apple II?
No, we never did the CNC Talker on the Macintosh.
Okay.
It was a Apple II program.
Okay.
And but it's what got us interested in plotting, because one of the things was that the people who were creating the programs wanted to try the program out without actually running it on a machine. On a CNC machine. So, you know, that was something that we thought, oh, well, we could plot it out on a plotter. Yeah. And so that was one thing. And then this also joins at the same time with Trevor Semedini, this guy who had the kitchen retail outlets around our area, that walked into our place one day with an Apple II under his arm, saying, I won this in a competition with some software for kitchen design, which isn't any good. You know, could you write me a kitchen design program? So we had a look at it, and we decided to have a go at it. And I think we quoted him about 14 weeks, but probably it was more like 10 years. we started on the Apple II, right?
Right.
So it was a 3D design program for kitchens, and well, it soon progressed. The next step was Apple III. But of course, Apple III was well, it didn't succeed at all.
Didn't really light the world on
No,
fire. That's for
no.
sure.
But then we got on to Lisa. Well, I guess it was Mac SE,
Mac XL,
XL, whatever.
Right? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, it was quite successful on Lisa, and we did a lot of shows in the United States selling systems to retailers, and yeah, it worked out pretty well, and of course they also wanted to have their plans plotted out, and oh, we actually missed a step somewhere. Oh no, well that's better. So yeah, but before that, in 84, in November 84, because we'd already come out with MacPlot. And when the Mac came out, we thought, well, we're gonna do some sort of plotting, and we'd seen MacDraw, and we knew that people would want to do it. Right. So we created this little application called MacPlot, and in November 84, Apple invited us to go and show the software at the Comdex show in Las Vegas. And I went over there, took a plotter, and showed at the show, and a lot of people were interested.
Yeah, I think the thing that people need to remember is that in those days, a lot of these companies making these plotters, Macintosh stuff was totally an afterthought. It was all driven to the PC. So having a company that was kind of on that cutting edge for writing drivers and testing and doing all that support was a very important role in the success of the Macintosh, especially in CAD CAM.
Yes. Anyway, so this was a little application, so you had to cut and paste the drawing from the clipboard and put it into the application, and then it would plot it out. And Apple were very interested, and they actually got us to write it as a driver. So Roger Holmes, who was doing the development, went to Cupertino for, I can't remember, a few weeks, I guess, and rewrote the app as a driver. It was very difficult in those days because the drivers were very, very small. You had to get a lot of code into a small space, but he managed to do it. And Apple, they wanted to bundle it with ClarisCAD, MacDraw, ClarisCAD, those sort of things. And actually, Microsoft put it with Mac Project. They had a Mac Project, I think. And anyway, so we wrote it, and then they actually gave it back to us and said, it's yours, you can have it. So we wrote our own product, apart from the ones that they were bundling. So that was like a major breakthrough for us, really. And then, we were looking around for companies that would want to do plotting. And of course, MacDraft, MiniCAD, what became Vectorworks, they were very big. They sold a lot of products for us, and especially in Japan. The Japanese company, A&A, they sold an enormous amount of Vectorworks, and we sold a load of MacPlots. to them. Yeah,
maybe that's good. So the business turned around. Hey, you mess with our copier stuff, we're gonna move in and we're gonna take over the the connectivity market for large format printers. So turnabout's fair play, right?
Yeah, I mean, and they were really fascinating machines. Those big plotters they used to have with the paper going backwards and forwards and the pens going. It was everybody loved to see it at the shows, you know. And
there's people that still today like it, because the you know, nowadays you have color laser, large format D and E size color lasers that could just print that stuff out in seconds. But there's a gentleman named Paul Rickards that has a website that is completely dedicated to people that still do plotter art today. So, and just some of the amazing drawings. You can't really see it too well, but up here, or actually I own some of his art that he has made over the years. And so, but I mean, it's still a big thing, all of that. I mean, as much as you might think that people have moved on from all of it, no, there's people that still celebrate and enjoy all that stuff today.
Yeah.
But as part of all this, you with the partnership with Apple and with all of that, and I know there's so much more software that Microspot produced over the years, but something I wanted to ask about is kind of contemporary to you guys kind of forming this partnership with Apple. It wasn't just on the software side. It wasn't just writing things. You were also a reseller for Apple equipment in the 1980s. I was just kind of curious what, especially in those early days, what some of the requirements were, and then what challenges you faced selling these machines in the UK. I mean, because of course you've got Sir Clive, you've got the Commodore folks, and everybody breathing down your neck with these brands that are seen as more, you know, something that's more British, more something that is from that area, and Apple is an outsider. So what challenges did you face, and what were some of the things that Apple required you as a reseller to do for them?
Oh, it was of course, in those days there was a distributor in England called Microsense Computers. Apple didn't actually run their business in the UK directly, and you had to buy, I think, 3 computers and a Paper Tiger printer. I don't know if you ever saw a Paper Tiger printer, but it was a weird thing. It was like a stand. It was like a toaster.
Really?
And the paper went in the bottom and came out the top.
I'm looking at a picture of it online, and it's a beige box that just has some tractor feed stuff coming out of the top. It is very unusual looking.
It was a very weird looking thing. Anyway, you had to buy one of those as well, I think. And well, for us it was a no-brainer because my father wanted one, my cousin wanted one for his business, and we wanted one for demonstration purposes. So we soon found a home for our 3 computers. But it was amazing. I think we started selling in August, and we changed because we were in a workshop before when we were doing all the electronic stuff. So I took an office in a little village and started advertising and, you know, trying to find customers. And we started in August. We didn't really sell anything until December. I was getting a bit worried. But suddenly, we got quite a few orders. And I think we were so enthusiastic about the Macintosh ourselves. And, I think we enthused other people because we thought they were such good machines compared to Commodore and Tandy and no, I think the Apple was just a very professional machine. It wasn't easy though sometimes, but I had to learn everything. I mean, we started selling accounting software, project planning software, everything that people wanted. And Apple actually, in those days, they were very, very good. They did have training courses that you could go to very often at their offices, and they would have their software developers there, and they'd spend the day telling you how to use the software and how to sell it and so forth. And yeah, they actually were very proactive with us dealers. The good thing was, in those days, you got about 30% margin on a computer. Well, yeah, that disappeared in the end. And I mean, we went through the whole thing. We were service providers. We had the store. We then opened the Apple Center in Maidstone, which was designed by Bang & Olufsen.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Apple paid for the fitting out of the Apple Center. But Maidstone, I don't really think it was big enough to support an Apple Center that easily. And well, we kept it going for several years, but when the margins were disappearing and Apple were also pushing more and more for more volume. Mm-hmm. And in the end, we said, we've had enough of this selling computers because there's no money in it, and we'll concentrate just on the software. And that's why, you know, we got out of the hardware business in the end.
No, I can understand. If there's nothing in it, don't stay in it. I mean, I don't think that you know, Microspot would be celebrating a 60th anniversary if you kept like plugging it away at things that weren't profitable.
No, but we sold. I mean, we sold a lot of Lisas or Mac XLs with the kitchen business. But then again, you see, what happened was Apple. We were allowed to set up a sort of a second dealer, and we had a margin on that stuff. So we sold the machines to Trevor Semedini for his Planit program, and we got a margin through that. But then Apple went direct to them. You know, I mean, this is the sort of thing they did. You know, they didn't want to keep us going, so they went direct, and so, but actually in the end, I think I was saying that the market disappeared for quite a while in the UK when we had a big recession, and I don't think they did a lot of business then with them.
I remember reading that that part of the thing that precipitated getting out of this as well was that the kitchen business kind of dried up. People didn't have the money for the renovation anymore, so it was just sort of everything contracted. Yes,
yeah. Well, we've been through several problem periods in the life of the company, as you can imagine, in all those years, and yeah, that was one really difficult time. I was trying to think. Oh yes, how we got a relationship with MacDraft. The first Macworld show was in January '85 in Brooks Hall in San Francisco, and I went there, and I took boxes of MacPlot in my suitcase and made them up at night in my hotel room, and sold them during the day. And it was really funny because, and I ended up with a load of checks. People wrote checks, and I didn't have a bank account. So anyway. The really funny thing was, I saw this sign, checks cashed, and I thought, oh, I'll go in there and see if I can cash these checks. So I went in there, and because they only do welfare checks, don't they? So that was really funny.
I was going to say it would be either that or it'd be like, well, it's just 20%. We just need 20% to cash this check for you.
Anyway,
no, thank
so
you.
yeah, that was quite fun. Anyway, I did have to open a bank account, I think, to get the checks cashed. But somebody said to me, "Oh, there's a company up in Concord, California, that are writing this drafting program," and it was Paul King, and they told me, how to contact them, and so I went up to see them after the show, and they were struggling hard to try to release this product before MacDraft, because MacDraft was in beta, wasn't it? And they'd let people look at it and use it, but it wasn't actually selling at the time. And I went to see them, and I say they were really struggling to get this product out, and I think they'd invested a load of money in it as well, and it was looking good, but they were trying to finish it off. That was the problem. Right. Anyway, they were interested in the plotter stuff, so I made a relationship with them, and then the next time I visited them, there were two. Paul King had a partner at that time, and they both had matching Corvettes outside, because this product had sold really, really well when it came out. It was a good product, when it was introduced. So yeah, and I started a relationship with Paul then, which went on for many, many years, and we'll come to that later, I guess. Then we had a relationship with NovaJet, these people in San Diego, and they were really the first ones to come out with this wide inkjet printer. Right. And so I think they'd seen us doing printing on plotting or something, and they contacted us, or we contacted. I don't know which way around it was now. It's such a long time ago. And we started printing these ginormous inkjet prints. They were beautiful. Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, it's again, it's for people that grew up at a time when all of this was just commonplace. This was all mind blowing when this came out. Just to be able to turn this on. I mean, what did it take a drafter? Days to copy a drawing or something, or you would have the older like mimeograph sort of machines, and then you're very much limited to just a this blue and white your drawing versus a printer with like 5 or 6 pens, and you'd be able to do CYMK color, and I mean, just amazing. I've seen some of the footage from trade shows and things like that contemporary to when this came out, and I know that there's like a 2-second clip on Computer Chronicles that are showing some of this stuff in action. And it's all, at the time it was very, very exciting. And I think it still is today for just the amount of the people that still kind of follow the history of CAD and the history of, the computer aided manufacturing and all of that too. But there's so many
on our website, we have got a history page. Unfortunately, it's got a bit garbled. It's but there are some photos in there of various times of the company, and so it's worth a look. But as I say, unfortunately, we haven't been able to sort out the problem with the text. It's somehow the photos are overlaying the text somewhere.
I've seen it, and it's sort of it actually, it's like a wavy timeline, and it has a certain, I would just say this. Well, you might say mess. I say it's a work of modern art, because it does have a certain flow to it where it just kind of draws you across the page as the code breaks down. But
Yes.
there's so many amazing products that Microspot was either that acquired and then turned around and marketed better than the original company, or things that were developed or reworked in-house. I know PhotoFix was one of those products where it was basically sort of an inexpensive alternative to Photoshop. You guys partnered with ArcSoft to kind of make that happen. And then later, again, the thing that I love, the thing that I still use today in 2026, MacPalette, because there's no better way to print in color on an ImageWriter 2 than MacPalette, just because of being able to lay down the individual colors and just the quality of the print, being able to send it to the background and go do other things. That Apple driver very much requires you to sit there and babysit the print job.
It's amazing because Roger Holmes wrote that product in a couple of days, I think, with a MacDraft MacPlot code, and and we sold thousands of them, and it was a really big deal for people to be able to print color on their ImageWriter 2s.
And definitely at a level of quality higher than what Apple was offering. I think the only thing holding people back these days is just the rarity of color ribbons for those printers. It's a Scido engine or print engine printer, but there have been a few people, Mac Effects, they made some reproduction ribbons for a very long time, but it's so expensive. And
I didn't realize people were still using ImageWriter for anything. Actually.
I mean, I published a video last year on how to completely recap and service your printer, and I am an old school printer repair person. I used to be like authorized service on a bunch of Scido printers, HP and Canon. I worked for MicroAge back in the day, so they would send you off to training all the time so that you could go. There's a bank that's got a super, like a $30,000 impact printer, and they're shut down. They can't print checks. So that was seen as a good investment to have people that could go out that knew the skills to be able to take care of some of those things. But so it sounds weird. It sounds weird that people are still using all this stuff today, but it's a testament to how the utility of it and the how well made the hardware and the software was, that you can still enjoy and use this stuff today. So my only regret is not being able to buy a boxed copy of MacPalette II. At a school sale, I bought a disc. I have a diskette, but I don't have the manuals. I don't have the box. I don't have anything. So I'm always looking on eBay to see if I can find a copy.
Okay. Well, I don't think we even have one in our office in England either. No. I don't remember seeing it. They've all disappeared.
Well, they all sold. So that's good.
That's good.
They didn't. Nobody threw them in a tip. They threw them in the mail and sold them to people.
Actually, we never talked about the fact that we opened an office in Cupertino.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's part of the partnership with Apple.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about how that went?
Yeah. Well, I went to every Macworld show in San Francisco and Boston for 20 years. Something like that. Anyway, in '88, I met this guy called Christensen, and I'd met him in England before that. He's a Danish guy. He's quite big in finance. He actually is Bang & Olufsen's president or something, isn't he now? I think. Anyway, so he wanted to open an office in California, and we met at the Macworld show. We went skiing. He taught me how to ski in 3 days, and then we decided to rent an office. And he had an invention for cleaning the mouse ball thing. He had a device. You took the mouse apart, stuck it inside, and cleaned it up. And he wanted to sell that, and we wanted to sell our software. So yeah, we opened an office in Cupertino, and we had the office there for 10 years actually. But what happened in the end was that Apple were going broke, basically, and we were very worried that that was all our business was based on Apple, and we didn't have anything for Windows or whatever. So I said we went to, I was at a meeting, and Gil Emilio was there, and they'd been trying to get this Copland operating system working, and it had been delayed and delayed and delayed, and they were talking to the French guy about his B operating system.
Yes.
Yeah. And it was all up in the air, and we just decided that we just couldn't hang on any longer. Right. And then there was a crisis in the Far East as well, and the Japanese business that we were doing suddenly crashed. So we decided to close the office in Cupertino and move back to the UK. And so that's what happened to the business in Cupertino. And of course, the good news was that they brought Steve Jobs back after that. And
yes. I was going to say in my notes, I've got a great the Gil saved Apple is what my notes say.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, he did in a way by bringing him back. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it was amazing. It's an amazing story. Yeah, absolutely incredible.
Oh, yeah. But I was going to say, with so many market changes and shifting customers and recessions and all of this, I think Microspot is one of those great success stories they've been able to weather the storm and to innovate and to then find emergent markets and move into those. Yeah. What is, if you could boil it down into 10 words or less, what is the secret of success for I'm joking, of course, but what do you attribute to be the true success story of Microspot?
Well, I mean, I think we were a good partnership, Roger Holmes and I. He was very, very intelligent, had a very very deep understanding of computers. I mean, he wrote high-level assembler for the Apple II of his own to do his programming with, and I think I had some contacts and ideas, and it's lateral thinking all the time, and when you're in a hole, you've got to find a way out. So that the businesses we've been through, we got to a point where you had to think of something new and get into a new business, and that is not totally new business, but a new direction for the business. And I guess we were lucky in some respects. We found some things that we were good at, and
sure.
And I mean, we always knew that the driver business was not going to last forever, because all the manufacturers were doing their own drivers for Macintosh in the end.
Sure.
And that's when I bought MacDraft. I hadn't seen much going on with MacDraft, and I called Paul King, and I said, "Hey, Paul, what are you doing with MacDraft? Not much is happening." And he said, "Oh, I'm sort of semi-retired." He said, "I go in a couple of days a week and do a bit of tech support and shipping and stuff." And because they had at one time, they had an enormous development crew up there, because they developed this program Dreams. I don't know whether you remember. They sort of decided that MacDraft wasn't that great and they wanted to do something else, and they brought this program out called Dreams, and it totally bombed, and they had to bring back MacDraft. I never tried Dreams, actually, I don't think. So I think that's after that he was a bit worried, and then he used to outsource all the development and just bring out a new version every year or something.
Sure.
And sell the upgrades. And anyway, he said, "Well, I'm more or less retired." I said, "Well, do you want to sell it? Because, I would like to buy it." And he said, "Yeah, okay." So we worked out a price, and we bought the product off him. And I mean, we've developed it right up to the latest version, 8.8 whatever it is, I don't know. And yeah, it's still one of the best 2D CAD programs around. Very easy to use, and we have the professional version and the personal edition, so you can buy whatever level you want.
And I was going to say, very recently, it added support for DWG and things like that. So there's more interoperability with other companies' solutions, or being able to import data and take a look at it too. So it's it all helps and just makes things more nimble. So
yes,
that's very cool. I'm glad that it's still in the development. I as someone who back in the day, I think in college, we had a Macintosh lab, and we did have some Mac 2 machines there that had MacDraft on them. So that way you could get a little bit of experience with modeling and things like that. We didn't make anything too complicated, or at least in my class, but I could recognize the utility and why this software has definitely weathered the storm.
Yes, yeah. No, it's a very good program, and I mean, Paul King spent loads of time developing it. I mean, he wasn't the actual developer, but he did all the ideas, and he was a big fan. He did his own kitchens and made cabinets. And I went into his garage at home, and he got this great big saw bench and all sorts of equipment there. And he used to draw all these things, and he used to make them. And of course, his experience was what went into the program. And it was very nice. And him and Janice, his wife, they used to spend all their evenings working on MacDraft. It was amazing. Yeah, really, really dedicated people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, again, it's a real testament. It's a testament to the utility of the software and of the hardware, and just community, and how people bring all that stuff together and make these wonderful solutions for people. So
yeah.
But, well, I will definitely. I want to recommend that anybody that's interested in learn more about MacDraft, or any of the again the about page with the trip down memory lane. It's very interesting. There's lots of really great photos, and if you're somebody like me that is very much a fan of kind of that era of computing, there's a lot of neat stuff to read and to learn. Some of it we talked about here, some of it we didn't talk about it here, so it's a reason to go there.
Covered it all.
Yeah. But if you are someone who is a fan of those things, you want to learn more about it, definitely go Microspot.com.
Thank you very much. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Great. Yeah. Mr. Coulling, thank you very much for taking time today. I very much appreciate it. And
no, it was a pleasure. And yeah, I love talking about the old days. Yeah,
I do too.
yeah. Okay, great.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ron.